GGRC.
Hey everybody, welcome to another QuickSave Review with me, RC, here on GGRC. Of course, my co-host, co-pilot, Sushman over here, hanging out with me. Look at him, his head's actually facing this way so you guys can see him. How nice is that? Guys, this is a new budget title that was just released on the Nintendo Switch that I'm actually having a good time with, I gotta say. It's called Super Wiloo Demake. I don't quite understand the title because I'm not familiar with Super Wiloo, so maybe this is a 3D game that has come out at some point? This is like a high-res PS3 or 4 game at some point? That I don't really know, but it has me confused because normally you can't have a demake without having, you know, a really high-scale game in the first place, right? You know, you could have like a God of War demake, for example, because it's always been a super huge 3D world and 3D games, right, with lots of moves and crazy stuff. So I don't really know where the demake moniker comes from for this, but I will say it is a very much stripped down 2D platform that I'm having a good time with. Keep in mind, this is a $5 budget title on the Switch, so you're pretty much expecting 5 worlds, 10 per, so you're getting 50 levels here with boss battles and everything. This is very much made in the vein of Mario, so if you are a fan of Mario, this is not quite there. This is kind of Mario Light, but I think you might enjoy it regardless. So here, let's take a look, shall we? Okay, so here we are in the game, and let's see, you know, I didn't check out the options here. I'm just curious what they have here. They have details, yes or no, I guess. Oh, you could show a clock, sound on, so stuff is pretty, it's pretty basic, honestly. I just wanted to see what they have in here, because they do actually keep track of your stats in the game, which I think is cool. Let's say continue where we left off here. So here we are in the game, and in this game, like I said, they do keep track of your stats, so if you hit pause on the menu here, they're going to show you your statistics. So you can see I played close to 20 minutes of this game, and I've gotten through the first world. So if that's anything to go by, 20 minutes per world, you know, you're getting like an hour and a half to 2 hour game, thereabouts, right? I've died 3 times, and I can tell you where all 3 of those deaths were because this game has not been that difficult yet. But all 3 of those deaths were due to ladders, because there's a weird ladder mechanic that I kept feeling like I could jump off the ladders, but I couldn't. Your only option when you want to get off a ladder is to either climb down it or fall, so that's really about it. There are special coins to collect too, so let's jump into that here so I can explain. We're going to play through the first level because I feel like it's a good explanation of what this game does and what it has. So here you go. I guess this is supposed to be Wiloo. As you can see, it is very much a, I guess a super stripped down 2D platformer as far as graphics go. It doesn't really bother me. What does bother me about this game, not so much graphic-wise, but is the sound design. Through the first 8 levels of the game, you play this exact same song over and over and over again. I am not the biggest fan of that, just based on the fact that it's like, you know, where's the variation, right? I want some other music. Also, every time you hit an enemy on the head, it's the exact same sound. Every time you collect a coin, same sound. Nothing changes. There's no different audio cues. That might be my biggest pet peeve here. Now, it might be one of those things where maybe I'm expecting too much from a $5 game. That could be the case. But here, let's talk about the suits here. The first suit I have is a Bumblebee. We'll get back to that once we collect it again. But this is like an armadillo suit. When they have an enemy coming at you, you can roll at them, which is pretty fun. And when you double jump, you can actually get this cool ball, sort of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style. This next suit we're going to collect is the unicorn. You can still double jump, but you can shoot a horn at enemies, which is actually pretty helpful in certain levels. Let's go ahead and shoot this guy. Keep on going. Now, you're not going to see any of the big special coins in this level because we've collected them all. We'll probably see those first in the World 2, which we haven't started yet. But you can see in the top left where your coins are actually at. Or rather, which coins you've already collected, I should say. And you can see above my webcam, there is a coin count. So I'm at 922 coins. It just basically keeps counting all the coins you ever collected. But there's no lives in the game, so if you collect 100, there's no change there. And if you like, I don't think that there's a store in the game, so I don't know what the coins are actually used for besides just bragging rights of saying, like, hey, I collected, like, thousands of coins in this game. I don't know. Here's another suit here, the Bumblebee Suit, which is my favorite. Reason being is because when you jump, you can keep tapping jump, and you can float up. But you see him flashing there. As soon as he's done flashing, he falls. So you can't do it anymore. So you got to really make sure that you time that. Personally, I almost feel like this game, if they would have kind of fashioned the game after the Bumblebee mechanic, I feel like that they could have done some really, really cool stuff with it. As it stands right now, if you have the Bumblebee Suit, you can quite literally fly through the levels. There's not really much in the way of, like, you know, not much in the way of challenge with that. This next suit, I really don't want to grab it because it's not super useful. Basically, it just makes you a better swimmer. You can use the D-pad to swim around, which can be helpful if you need to swim a lot. We haven't gotten through a lot of swimming levels, so this is really the only water I remember in the game so far. But of course, Wiloo has a wicked double jump, as you can see what I was doing there. Boom. He could jump all over the level. And as soon as you hit the arrow, you are done. It is stage clear. So, I mean, that is the game in a nutshell. That's the whole game. I did just finish the first boss. I actually had the Bumblebee Suit for the first boss, so it made it super, super easy, but I want to show you what the bosses are like so far. This is 1 of 5, and I was actually pretty... I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed with the bosses, so let me show you so far. I've only played the first boss, but here you go. You got a big frog, right? Big frog takes a jump, and then basically you just have to jump on his head. Hear the same exact enemy sound for when you jump on his head. So this guy just jumps around, and then you gotta jump on him. That's it. And I think it's like 4 or 5 times. This may very well be one of the easiest bosses I've ever fought against in any game ever. And look, you can even time it, so every time he pops out, you jump on his head. There you go. Stage clear. Yeah, kind of ridiculous in my opinion, to be quite honest. Not disliking the game, but just like some of the sounds are just, they're so redundant sounding. The little pop, you know, when you jump on an enemy is just like, it gets old very, very quick. So there you go. We beat the frog, basically Sapolino, I guess is the frog's name, and the frog said like, oh yeah, I was put under a spell. By the way, the story behind this game is that you're trying to get your dog back, I guess. That's it. It's not a, you know, bad premise for a 2D platformer, I guess, but still. Alright, let's start World 2, Level 1. And here we go. Oh, we're in an icy world. And here's the first special coin. See how the coin was just a little bit bigger? There you go. Just like in the more recent Mario games, you have the option of collecting 3 special coins if you so choose. Obviously, you don't have to, but I will say that it does actually matter in this game. We'll switch up to the armadillo suit here. It does matter in this game because if you do not have enough of those special coins to get through to the next area, the game will not let you through to the next area. So, something to keep in mind that if you keep bypassing the special coins, it will come back to bite you at some point. I've had absolutely no trouble. I think there might be one level that I only got 2 in, the rest were all 3s. And I don't consider myself the best gamer most of the time, but I was able to get all of those coins, minus the 1, so I feel like I'm doing pretty good in the Demake here. Oops, okay, so I got hit there. You can see that you actually lose your suit anytime you get hit. If you do not have a suit and you get hit, you will die, so keep that in mind. But every time that I have died, it has not really been... Oh, there we go, there's a death. But every time I die, it hasn't been too big of an issue. This one, are we starting back at the beginning? I forget if we hit a checkpoint. No, we did hit a checkpoint. So now you start your checkpoint. The game is super forgiving. The game is what I would consider a very, very casual platformer. That is to say, you know, it's super forgiving. It's like, hey, you died here, don't worry, there's a checkpoint. Wow, died in the same place again. Up to 5 deaths now. I wonder if this game turns into one of those games where, like, by World 4 or 5, it's just, like, completely insane and difficult. That would be really funny. But yeah, you know, like I said, you die there, they're gonna start you off at the checkpoint. And even if you didn't hit a checkpoint or anything, like, say, for example, you hit your checkpoint. Wow, I died again. I cannot believe I can't pass this part. What am I doing wrong? The hit detection on the enemies... it can be a little strange. Most of the time you jump on their heads, But sometimes if you hit them at a weird angle, they will take you out. But yeah, even if you collect special coins after you hit a checkpoint, it'll still count up in your total. So it's very forgiving. Oop. Enemy variety kind of sucks too. So far, like, I feel like the artwork of the game shows off a lot of different enemies that you get to fight in the game. But I feel like the majority of the time I'm kind of just running away from these Goomba-looking guys. And they're just different colors. The different colors do react differently. So, like, those pink ones will only come after you once you get close. But for the most part, though, I'm not super impressed with the variety of the enemies. Again, budget title, $5, I get it. Oh, I don't think I can reach that, can I? Oh, no, I can reach it. Just barely. There we go. And we broke 1,000 coins. Let's see. You might also notice one of the things I thought was kind of funny is you'll notice that normally in Mario games they use the first number as the world number. So you notice that this one says level 8-1, and the second number is always 1 because they mean world 1. But normally in Mario is always like world 1-1, 1-2, 1-5, right? This one it's backwards, right? It's not 9-1. Like there's 1-2, but then the very first level of the game is 2-1. I don't know. I always thought it was world and then level. Really mixed it up. And here it says world 2 level 1. See, they got it mixed up. Very strange. Okay, let's keep on going here. There's our unicorn suit. This game definitely has that ability of creating the vulnerability feel that you get from Mario when you're small. When you don't have a suit in this, you definitely feel vulnerable. Like, oh man, any hit here could take me out. Majority of the time, it's not that big a deal. It might be because a lot of the platforming and enemy stuff you got to deal with in this game is not difficult in the least. And honestly, I'm kind of just cruising through this. I'm sure you could take your time and probably not get hit as much as I'm doing here. I'm trying to show off as much of this game as I can in a short amount of time here. I think we're going to play one more level after this one just so I could show off like a different texture set. Because they do exist, even though you can tell that with this game that they reuse quite a few things, right? Enemies, textures, all that stuff. But man, I gotta say that enemy kill sound is just like not doing much for me. Alright, this is what you need the unicorn suit for here, is to kill these guys as you go to get this last special coin. The S coin. You can even tell by the hills here, the way those hills go by, the brown hills. That looks very, 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 very Mario. I gotta say, the control of the main character is actually not bad, too. When I first downloaded this, I really was expecting it to feel kind of bad. But it doesn't feel bad. It especially feels great when you're not in a slippery level like these. Slippery levels, never my favorite in Mario. You know, when you're sliding on the ice constantly. And it looks like I got several more levels. Actually, you can see on the map what I was talking about there. It's right behind the bottom corner of my webcam where it says 34 times, and there's actually an S there for the special coins. It does keep track, and it says you need to have 34 to make it here. Oops, that is not what I meant to do. Let's go back to map. At any point, you can quit out and go back to the map too, which is really nice. Let's see. Nope, again, not what I meant to do. What is the button for the stats? I thought it was I thought it was start. Either way, I wanted to see how many special coins I had. But it doesn't seem to want to pop up for me. Oh, there we go, X, okay. So you see we're up to 30 minutes now at this point, but total special coins, we got 32 of 135, so you would actually need to collect 2 more to make it through the next area. So that's pretty cool. This is one thing I did not know, though. You could actually use this to span across and see the whole rest of the map. So you can see we're getting to some kind of pink zone, there's a water zone, there's a chocolate zone, which is probably the last set of the game here. Yep, there we go, that's at the end. But here, let's actually go back to... I think it's 9-1, which should be 1-9. World 1-9, right? Yes. All right, so you could, I want you to be able to see like a different texture set here. Get the bee, yeah, and I can get my bee suit. We can just fly through most of this. So they did go out of their way to create a few different texture sets, which I think is great. And you can see with the worlds coming up, there are other texture sets. But as you can see here again, all the same enemies over and over and over again. That's pretty much one of my only gripes. Enemies, overusage of the same music over and over again. And some of the crappy sound design for some of the enemies just being reused. That sound right there. Over it. Don't like it. Pick a new one. Let's see here. I'm gonna make it through this one in record time. Boom. Which I assume in every world, the level before the castle will probably be like that. That's my assumption. I don't know for sure. But there you go, guys. That is Super Wiloo Demake. Like I said, I think it's a cool little game. It's only $5 on the Switch, so you don't have much to lose really with that. You're getting 50 levels. It seems like it's gonna be a real fun, quick game to play through if you want to play through like a short game that takes you an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through. But for $5, I mean, this is a pretty quality game. You know, the things I've already cited are not really huge issues or anything like that, but yeah, not bad. Definitely recommend checking this out if you're a platformer fan. I am, so I'm always into new platformers and that kind of thing, and for $5, you could definitely do worse with this game. But there you go, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.